I'm standing in front of you today because I care deeply about the energy transition. This is one of my key missions in my career and why I'm in politics. So I don't come to you today because this is something I think would be cool to have. I come to you because I think it is deeply and drastically urgent. So we know right now that the energy transition in this country is failing. It is stuck in the mud. Now, part of that is a lack of political will. Part of that is a Conservative Party that doesn't care about it. But another part of it is about how we are going about it. And the way we are going about it right now is that we are trying to smash our way through communities, one farm, one house after the other, in order to deliver the infrastructure that we need for this country. Now, for me, if that were necessary, okay, that's something we'd have to do. But I do not believe, fundamentally convinced, that it is necessary, because there are different ways we can deliver this. So what I'm seeking to put to you today, conference, is an alternative, a real different approach. And this is not some pie in the sky. This is what they are doing in Belgium, in Germany, in the Netherlands. These are countries that deeply and profoundly understand what it is to build offshore, just as we once did. Now, I work in the offshore industry. I have worked in shipyards where offshore substations have been constructed. I've seen this with my own eyes. This is real, and it can be done. But it does require a different approach. And we as the Liberal Democrats, I believe, are the party of ideas, not just the party that follows along. So, if we look to the future, there isn't a single more important project for the future of our nation than our national grid in the coming decades. There is nothing more important than this, because we need to tackle climate change, and we also would like to be building something that can then be a template for elsewhere as well. And we can be a template, we can be a model that still is within our grasp, even if we've fallen behind. So, what I'm proposing is just the start. Because if we can take that power from where it lies offshore, and we have an abundance of power offshore in Scotland, if we can take it from where it is to where it's needed directly, we can have projects that go forward at speed, at pace, that are replicable, without all the complexity of trying to fight your way through 1,000 planning processes and 1,000 compulsory purchases. We cannot let this become another HS2. Indeed, it will be more than another HS2, it will be HS2 on steroids, multiple HS2s across this country. And that is not how we deliver infrastructure. So, once we've built this, just imagine you've got these huge amounts of power coming on shore. What can you then do with it? You can generate hydrogen, you can generate ammonia. Now, if you can generate those in a green way, rather than using natural gas as is done today, you can decarbonise entire sectors of our economy. Take ammonia, for example. You can decarbonise farming, you can decarbonise shipping. There are all sorts of areas that you can fundamentally decarbonise if we get the right infrastructure in place. And that's what I'm all about. So, I'm asking you today, conference, to be optimistic about the future that we can have for our country. I'm asking you to think that we could do things differently, that we don't have to do this most important, most fundamental project for our country on the cheap. Now, I'm sure you will hear from speakers later saying, oh, well, isn't it more expensive to do it that way? Well, yes. On paper, if you look at it as an engineer, it is more expensive. But then you don't take into account the human cost. You don't take into account the human impact on your project. You don't take into account the fact that your project gets dragged out year after year after year, and your project team is still there working away, getting paid, and you're getting nowhere. That's the difference. So, Yes, you can compare them on paper and say this is more expensive than that. Well, we can all do that. But I believe that we have a fundamental opportunity here to change the game, to change what we're doing, and to make a real success of the energy transition in this country, and have a template that we can export with our wonderful industries that we have, certainly in my part of the country, and it may well be in your part of the country as well. We've got our subsea industry, we've got our offshore industry. We have the expertise, we have the talent, we have the quality, we have the skills. So conference, support me today in bringing this opportunity home to Scotland, to the UK. Thank you, conference.